Welcome back to another episode of the Post Game Clarity Podcast. My name's Ked. I'm joined here with my co-host, my dog, my brother, Max, man. Say what's up, bro.
Yes, sir, man. How you been, my brother?
I've been chilling. It's been a long week, but
Definitely has
chilling
been,
no
man.
regardless. Yes, sir.
Been a bunch of sports going on this week, man. You got a lot of NBA going on, a lot of college, a lot of college football, a lot of NFL going on this week. It's getting around that point in time where these games are going to be going by so quickly, man. It's going to be a lot of sports going on, definitely in this late December, early January.
Yes, sir, man. Let's go ahead and get right into it, bro. Let's talk about this NBA Cup, dog. Let's do it.
NBA Cup, man. For starters, the NBA Cup in general, in my opinion, was a great addition. I felt like it gave us that playoff experience, kind of like not really necessarily midway throughout the year, but once the game's kind of starting up and you kind of get to see which teams kind of are gelling together and can make a playoff push. And I think with so many games that go on in the NFL, the NBA, it's an 81-game season, man. And sometimes some of those games can kind of be meaningless because it's like doesn't really affect the record too much, especially early in the year. And I feel like the Cup kind of makes it to where it can keep the consumers and keep us as viewers locked into basketball, because when you cut on a good basketball game, it really makes you realize your love for the game, man. And I feel like that's what this NBA Cup did. It provided us with some great basketball that can keep you entertained and that can kind of help you sort through the good and the bad of teams and what teams can really be serious coming to make a playoff push. And I think it was a great addition.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there because I know a lot of people, if you don't really watch basketball for real, you do, you just don't like watch every game. People
Right.
tap into the first couple months of the season or weeks, and then come All-Star game, they watch All-Star game, 3-point challenge, dunk contest, whatever, and then they check out until playoff time, and they come back in playoff time. But I think what the NBA Cup allowed, I feel like the NBA Cup is a true playoff atmosphere. I feel like
definitely.
the players now that it's like paid, I feel like the players really are like I think they try harder versus
Definitely,
like normal
I agree,
regular season games.
especially with the $500,000 on the line.
And then you get the championship trophy and the medal, and of course the banner. And I feel like it was a great addition. So shout out Adam Silver for that. That was.
Speaking of the banner, before we get into the game, did you see that the Knicks elected not to raise the banner, to raise the NBA Cup banner? Well, I want to get your opinion on that.
I mean, I feel like they kind of, I don't want to call it corny because it's not really corny. It's just like celebrate, bro. You just achieve something nobody else really has done besides the Los Angeles Lakers. So raise the banner, bro. Enjoy that. Y'all was raising that trophy. If you didn't want the banner, you shouldn't want the trophy. So raise that banner, bro.
I can see that.
New York needs that. They need that for sure.
And you know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of at the beginning of the year when the Philadelphia Eagles decided not to watch the trophy ceremony. I feel like sometimes you kind of really don't know when you're going to get back to those moments like that. So you want to enjoy them while you can. And of course, you want to stay locked into the main goal, which is making it to the playoffs and get into the championship. But on the way, celebrate those small things, man. And I definitely think, if the Cup is going to be something that they're going to continue to do throughout the years, I mean, celebrate it and have it be something that can be important to the guys, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's been half a century since the Knicks have won a championship, bro.
Right.
So that banner has not been raised in half a century. That's a long time.
Right. That's a long time.
Let's raise something, man. NBA Cup is worth it.
I agree. But get to the game itself, man. This was a great game. And like we were both saying, this was a game that definitely has some playoff environment to it, man. The Spurs came out early and strong, kind of controlling this game for almost like 3 quarters. I'd say by around the third quarter is kind of when the Knicks started turning up and taking back the lead. They ended up getting the win 114 to 113. 124 to 113. But I feel like the score kind of doesn't really show how close this game was, man. The Knicks kind of show, in my opinion, I feel like they show some of their playoff experience in this game that the Spurs don't have. And I feel like the late rotations from the Spurs, I definitely kind of don't really agree with. And I feel like like I said, the Knicks kind of just showed the experience that Jalen Brunson and that team has. Like, that team has been real deal playoff situations, and I feel like they could tell because the third quarter they didn't get wavered. It didn't feel like the game was over. They came back, and when Mike Brown's got those guys playing, and like although Jalen Brunson won the NBA Cup MVP, OG Anunoby had an amazing game. And going into the playoffs, like we're saying, you're gonna need guys to play like that. He had 28. And it was impactful. It was a loud 28, and it was a clutch 28. Man, like, in my opinion, you don't even need 28 from him. If he can give you 18, 20 in the playoffs, bro, then Knicks are going to go a very, very long way. But another guy that I was very, very impressed with was Jordan Clarkson, man. In that fourth quarter, Jordan Clarkson had a lot of clutch buckets, man. He had 15 points, but in that fourth quarter, he was definitely clutch. He had some clutch threes, some clutch floaters that kept the Knicks in that little 10-point window that didn't allow the Spurs to completely come back.
Yeah, and just like Jalen Brunson said in that postgame interview, without Jordan Clarkson, Mitchell Robinson, Steve Nash over there, they don't win that game.
Yeah.
They don't win that game. And I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it, but he was right 100%. They would have not won that game without them. So they really that second unit, and those are playoff rotations,
Yeah,
by the way.
definitely. Definitely.
Those are you playing 6, 7 guys? Man, I didn't like that. But you playing 6 or 7 guys, that's playoff rotation. So
I say, and definitely another player that the last player from the Knicks that I, of course, other than like Jalen Brunson, that I would like to call out and just say that he had an amazing game was Mitchell Robertson, man. 10 offensive rebounds in a game is crazy. He had 15 in total. But like getting 10 offensive rebounds, those second chance points that you're giving for your team, that's the stuff that in the playoffs that matters, bro. And that's the stuff that's gonna win you games on the road in the playoffs, allowing you to get second chance opportunities. Like this Spurs team is really, really good, and they're young, but they're really, really good. And I think they can be a team that in a couple years that can make some serious noise. Of course, I feel like they'll get into the playoffs this year, but I definitely, definitely think that this isn't like, just any ordinary team that they just beat they just won against.
yeah, and speaking about rebounds, the Knicks out-rebounded the San Antonio Spurs,
Right.
59-42.
And I don't think that's something many people expected coming into this game.
Not at all. Not at all. The Knicks are more physical. They're a very physical team, but I don't think anybody expected them to out-rebound them by 10 or more. They almost had 60 rebounds, bro. That's a lot of rebounds. So,
And I
yeah,
feel like the Knicks also did a great job at keeping Wemby uncomfortable in this game. Although Wemby was on minute restriction, and I know, unfortunately, he was playing with the passing of his grandmother. She unfortunately passed on Tuesday night. But I feel like when it came, he had some moments in that fourth quarter, but for the most part, I feel like they did a great job of keeping him uncomfortable and not really letting him get into that type of rhythm that when we see Wemby getting that type of rhythm, he can give you 30. I feel like in that fourth quarter, he was trying to kind of find his rhythm with shooting some threes and kind of trying to see one fall. But they did a good job mostly swarming him and hounding him and getting him to make some decisions that he probably wouldn't have made normally.
yeah, one person that they did not rattle, though, my dog, Dylan Harper, man.
Dylan
He
Harper,
was
yes,
balling.
bro. He's
Team
had a
leading
great
scorer.
game, bro.
Yes,
Team leading
sir.
scorer as a rookie, man. He coming off
Off
the
the
bench.
bench.
He's gonna give them valuable, valuable minutes. He shot 71% from 3, 5 for 7, bro. 50% from the field in general. And what's crazy, it's like something just clicked this game. Coming into this game, he had only made 10 3-pointers. 10 3-pointers on the entire year, bro. And he makes 5 tonight. Like, that is very impressive. And as a Spurs, like if I'm a Spurs fan, that game is showing me that game is showing me a lot. That game is getting me super excited. Him and Stephon Castle, bro, this game kind of showed me what I would need to see as a Spurs fan to get me excited for the future because those are going to be your two guards going into the future unless they decide to maybe package one of them. I don't see why you would, but those are going to you have De'Aaron Fox right now, but for your future when you're talking about getting guys to pair with Wimpy, those are going to be your guys that is going to be your 1 and 2, and they provide a presence on offense and defense, bro. Like Dylan Harper was swarming Jalen Brunson, and he got a clutch turnover on Jalen Brunson, the backcourt violation call. Like that's some in the playoffs, that's stuff that's gonna get the team energized.
Yeah, that's a
And
momentum swing for sure.
definitely, bro. Definitely, bro.
Another thing that goes unsaid was even though they lost, Stephen Castle, he almost had a triple-double last night or
Right.
whatever that was. He
Right.
almost had a triple-double. So, I like what you said. Dylan Harper, Stephen Castle, bro, those are gonna be the guys, and Victor Wembanyama, let me not disrespect.
Of
Those
course.
are gonna be the guys for the future for the Spurs, and I can see them being not only really good, I can see them being championship contenders for sure.
Definitely,
They
bro.
need maybe a couple more pieces, but besides that, they're gonna be a great team, get that experience in, and then I can see them getting a ring in a couple years.
Right. And the thing is with Wemby, you kind of already know he's gonna bring you. He's gonna bring you, of course, elite defense. He's gonna bring you elite scoring. He's gonna bring that type of like gravity that he's gonna have offensively and defensively. That's gonna get guys open. And you're just gonna need those guys that number one that can score for themselves and can create buckets by themselves, play make to get him involved, and also just be able to be there and catch and shoot. And my biggest thing with Stephon Castle is like even like we saw last year, like the scoring is there, the defense, of course, is there. He's a two-way guard. My biggest thing was just for him is just being able to control the ball and control the turnover aspect of his playmaking. And this game, he did that. And like that's the biggest thing I've been watching for him. Like he had 12 assists this game. Of course, he's gonna always be a guard. He's gonna be on the glass. But he had 12 assists this game, and he only had 4 turnovers. So I was proud of that. And I feel like that's something that can definitely be built on going forward. Of course, some nights he's gonna have nights where he turns the ball over more, but he's still young, and for the most part, that's encouraging to see moving forward.
I'm I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Spurs move De'Aaron Fox.
I can see that in the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
But one thing that I will say, and that's why this is the reason why I think they'll be skeptical to move him for now, is for these next couple years, I feel like they will need that veteran guard experience if they're trying to make a run into the playoffs. Because I feel like this game kind of showed that. Because when the Knicks start to punch back and when they kind of start to not only tie the game, but kind of stretch the lead a little bit, they kinda didn't really have that like, well, number 1, I feel like the veteran coaching and the veteran playmaking from your guard to kinda settle them down and get back in control and win this game, like, I feel like in that 4th quarter, especially late, they were so rattled and they were so like when you're controlling the whole game and then a team comes and punch backs like that, like how the Knicks did, it kind of does get a little unsettling for your young guys. And I feel like you need a guard like De'Aaron Fox that, although hasn't had much playoff experience, has been in those Game 7 moments with Golden State that is going to help them just kind of settle the team down and be like, hey guys, we're still good. Let's get some good plays running. Let's get back into the momentum so we can tie this game back up and control the game. Because I think if that happens, they win that game for sure, even with this veteran Knicks team.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it has a bit to do with the coaching as well,
Yep,
because
I
that could be a
definitely
coaching
agree. I was just
thing.
about to say that.
Yeah. I could 19 points in the 4th quarter, that's
You can't.
they just
They
completely
collapsed in the
collapsed.
fourth. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It
They definitely
happens.
collapsed. Yeah, and it does happen. They're a young team. Like, at the end of the day, they showed their youth this game in the 4th quarter, in my opinion. But that's what young teams are gonna do. They're gonna show their youth eventually. And we didn't have the best game. De'Aaron Fox didn't have the best game either. He didn't shoot the best. It was a lot of times around the rim where I felt like he could have finished better to help their team out. But that's what's gonna happen when you have a relatively young team. And it's just the biggest thing for them is getting in these moments and getting in more of these moments so you get used to playing in these moments. And that's what's gonna help them going forward.
100% agree. 100% agree.
So how does this game what does this game kind of tell you about just the East in general? I'm pretty sure it was Jalen Brunson said after the game or Josh Hart that he felt like that people were saying the East was wide open, and he was saying he disagrees. How do you feel about the playoff standings in general, and who are your kind of favorite teams coming out the East and the West?
Well, my favorite team coming out the East right now is gonna be the Detroit Pistons, and not only because I like who they got over there, but
Right.
I think Cade Cunningham and the way he plays, also with Jalen Duren, and then the way the entire team just comes together, and the Thompson twin, Sarah Thompson, I feel like they are going to be the team to be in the future. Got the Knicks going all the way for the East, but
Okay.
Detroit, give them 2 years, they'll be there.
I can definitely see that. And bro, Kate Cunningham, he has been playing at an MVP level, bro. He's been very, 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 very impressive for them, bro. Like, I feel like everybody knew that Kate Cunningham could always take that next step into being an elite guard, but I feel like he took it to a whole, like, another level, bro. Like, honestly, right now, if I, like, the Detroit Pistons are 1 in the East at 21-6, bro, I think he's my MVP right now.
MVP?
And I know what Shea is doing over there, and I respect that, and I feel like he can be the guy that's gonna get it, but if the Pistons keep winning like this and Cade Cunningham stay, I think when you think about what the MVP award means, I think Cade Cunningham is the league's most valuable player right now, for sure. Because I feel like he's the only guy that's kind of playing without that second star on his team. Like, of course, SGA was doing it for a long time without J-Dub this year. But that team's, even after J-Dub, has a lot of quality pieces, and so does Detroit. However, Kate Cunningham keeps that team afloat, and so does SGA. But I feel like it's a different. I feel like this team with no Kate Cunningham is lottery, bro.
I'm gonna touch on what you were saying with OKC and saying I'm gonna say if SGA was not on that Oklahoma team, that team is still top 5 in the West.
I can see them being at least top 10 in the West, even with no SGA.
Yeah, and also
SGA does a
I
lot for
feel
that
like
team, of course.
yes, for sure. And I'm also gonna say if Cade Cunningham's on any other team, that team is gonna be top 5 anywhere. West or East,
Right.
that team is gonna be top 5. I feel like Cade Cunningham could be on the Portland Trail Blazers, and that team would be top 5.
Yeah, and I feel like Cade Cunningham brings a presence defensively that SGA doesn't bring. And like SGA, I think he plays like average defense. I don't think it's nothing to where you can pick on him for sure, especially with his length. But Cade Cunningham has been playing great defense this year, along with elite offense and elite playmaking and rebounding. Like he's averaging 21-9 and 27-9 and 6 this year, bro. With 1.5 steals per game. Like that's MVP numbers, bro.
Yeah.
And like I know everyone like gets mesmerized with the scoring that SGA brings to the table, but I feel like down the stretch, bro, if both these teams are number 1 in the East and number 1 in the West, respectively, I don't know. Depending on the record, bro, I feel like we all have to see what type of record OKC might have at the end of the year, because if it's something historic, then SGA will for sure get it. But if their records are close, I think I'd have to give the nod to Kate Cunningham just based off what he has and just how bad the Pistons have been. And they turned it
Mhm.
around last year, but to excel from what they are last year to being number 1 in the East, that's very impressive.
Yeah, fully turned that team around. Coach of the year, I think might go ahead and give an early nod to him because
Yeah, I can
that
definitely see
team
that.
fully turned around.
Completely, bro. They've completely turned around.
Let's see what we got next. There was some games today, no?
It was some college football games, but it was kind of a little bit of smaller games. Kind of what I want to touch on next is we have a very important Thursday night football game in the NFL. The Los Angeles Chargers will be facing the Seattle Seahawks, and they're both in the same division, both sitting at 11-3. The LA Rams are number 1 in the NFC. Seattle Seahawks are number 5, but the NFC has been so loaded this year, bro. They have the same record, and they're 4 points. I mean, they're 4 slots um, differential. So like the NFC has been so crazy this year. And I feel like this is a very important game because they've already matched up one time with the LA Rams getting the win. And since they're both in the same division, I feel like this is a very big game for Seattle.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I think Seattle is gonna have to win this game. This is really, if we're being honest with each other, whoever wins this game is gonna be number 1 in the NFC. Ooh. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the Rams are gonna win this game. They seem like if they play their perfect brand of football, they're gonna have the nod on this game. The Seahawks are great, amazing defense, amazing offense, very, very high powered offense and higher powered defense. But I feel like the Rams are just going to be a more whole team in this matchup, and I think they're going to really show that behind Matthew Stafford's leadership and Puka Nacua. He's a beast. So I
My
just
Matthew Stafford's MVP like season, bro. It's crazy. He's 37 years old and he's having the best year of his career, bro. That's
what's he
so
got? What he got? Like
impressive to me, bro.
37, 30, 40 touchdowns, something like that.
37 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, bro, with 3 games left. We can both almost guarantee that he's gonna crack 40 yards. 40 touchdowns for the third time in his career, bro. At age 37, dealing with the type of injuries that he's had, bro, that's so impressive. And I feel like that just speaks to his longevity, bro. He's taken some crazy hits and had some crazy injuries with his time on the Lions before he even got to the Rams, bro. And to still be playing at this level, like, bro, he won a Super Bowl not too long ago. That team has changed. That team has lost some guys. That team has added some guys they've drafted, and they're back at number 1 in the NFC, bro. And that's because of him.
Yeah, they are back. I remember. Yeah, I remember them being
Yeah,
Super Bowl contenders, bro, and
yeah,
and it wasn't a fun Super Bowl, but they are back,
yeah.
and
They're
I
they're
think
back, bro.
they getting is Devontae Adams. Do you know if Devontae Adams is playing today
Devontae
or
Adams is
sorry
not
tomorrow?
playing. That's why. Tomorrow. But I think that is my biggest swing, bro. He is super important to the offense, and he's been Matthew Stafford's biggest target in the goal line. They've had that chemistry. I think he's got like 10 plus touchdowns on the year, and he's a veteran guy that Matthew Stafford trusts in the red zone. Of course, he's got his beast Puka Nacua, one of the best receivers in the league out there. But defenses have to account for Devontae Adams. And with him being out, that pressure and those looks are going to go to Puka Nacua, especially with this Seattle Seahawks defense. Their patient defense, their defense, they drop back in coverage a lot because they have so many guys in the line of scrimmage that can win one-on-one without coverage. You know, we talk about Devin Witherspoon. We talk about the rookie out of South Carolina. We talk about a lot of those. They've drafted very, very well, and that secondary is very, very good. And I feel like with Devontae Adams being hurt, I don't know, man. I've been going back and forth. At first, I had the Rams winning by like 10 plus, but now I don't know. I think my final pick will be the Rams. But with Devontae Adams being hurt, I think this game is definitely going to be interesting. I feel like my biggest key, if I'm Seattle, we have to make sure the Rams don't get out early, bro. They've been one of the best teams in the league at scoring in the first quarter. And the thing about the Seattle Seahawks in these last couple of games is they've been slow on offense, especially starting out the gate. Like you look back at that Colts game, they were super slow. And even games before that haven't been putting up many points in the first quarter. So biggest thing for if I'm them is we gotta go out and we gotta score. We have to get up early. We can't let the Rams get up early because if they get up early, the Rams are going to hold on to that with that defense that they have with Matthew Stafford. Of course, this is the last game that Sam Darnold threw 4 picks. While I don't expect that to happen again, I will be interested to see how that Rams defense plays him. But I got the Rams winning this one. Although I'd say I'd expect a JSN crazy game. I can see this being a game that he goes kind of crazy. I can see this being a really, really close game. It's going to be an interesting game to see for sure. And it's definitely going to have some big implications on the NFC going forward.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but that when the Seahawks played when the Seahawks played Tampa Bay, I feel like this game's gonna be very similar to that. They ended up losing that game late, but I think this game's gonna be very, very similar to that. I think Jason, he's gonna have 100 plus, maybe 1 or
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
My
And
offensive
then
player of the year.
I like that. I do. I like that right there because he's been balling, man. But then I feel like Los Angeles, they're also gonna hit back. They're always gonna hit back. So between Kyron Williams running the ball, because I think he looks like I'm not gonna say he looks like a really nice running back because he is a really nice running back, but
Right.
he's been playing absolutely amazing football
He's
for
been
them.
that he's been that X factor that they needed.
Yeah.
That consistent running threat
Yep.
for sure.
On all of Matthew Stafford's passing, he still manages to get 10 touchdowns on the year. So yeah, that's crazy for him. And I believe he's splitting carries, if I'm not mistaken, with what's his name? Blake Corum, I think?
Yeah, they have been splitting a little bit of carries. I don't know if it's a 50-50 split, I'm pretty sure it's been some sort of split with them for sure.
Yeah. So I feel like them once again being a whole team, even without Devontae Adams, I think they're gonna edge this off. And I think it's gonna be a similar box score to that
Okay.
Tampa Bay game and Seahawks game. I think it was 38-35. I think it's gonna be similar to that.
Speaking of offensive player of the year, man, let's get into some of these awards, man. Who are your I know some of these are kind of lopsided, but who are your NFL MVP and offensive and defensive rookie of the year, starting off with the awards?
Most valuable player, MVP. I'm gonna give it to Drake May.
Mm, okay.
And I do have this Patriots jersey on. It's a Cam Newton jersey. But I'm gonna give it to Drake May, and I'm giving it to Drake May because of the definition of most valuable player. Without Drake May on that team's not winning as many games as they have. And you could say the same thing about Matthew Stafford, but I see Drake May getting it because of how bad the Patriots were after Tom Brady left. Drake May comes in, he gets them to where they're used to Seahawks or sorry, excuse me, Patriots fans are used to being. You know what I mean?
All right.
So I'm gonna give it to Drake
Okay.
May. What about you?
I can definitely respect that. My MVP definitely, in my opinion, I think will have to be Matthew Stafford. I think just what he's been doing at his age, man, it's very impressive. If he can get to 40 touchdowns this year, um, with 5 interceptions, I'm sure he might have a couple more interceptions um when the season ends. But him getting 40 touchdowns at almost being 40 years old is super impressive, bro. He's been doing this for so long. He's got this team number one in the NFC. I think my MVP would have to be him right now. If the season were to end tomorrow, I think Matthew Stafford will be my MVP. But I definitely think it will. And like if I'm a Patriots fan, bro, my quarterback being number 2, my quarterback being in MVP rankings in his second year in the league, bro. A lot of the times you see quarterbacks take that sophomore slump, as they call it, but he's taken his game to a whole other level. And he's been doing the things that he's been doing last year, but with the new coach and Mike Vrabel, he's brought a different environment, a different vibe to that team that they didn't have last year. And it's caused them to win a bunch of games.
Yeah, agreed. I like that, Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, for sure. Offensive player of the year, man. I feel like this was one that was kind of neck and neck at the beginning of the year with Jonathan Taylor and Jackson Smith and Jibba. But in my opinion, I feel like JSN is kind of broken away with the offensive player of the year. Of course, with Daniel Jones getting hurt and teams kind of scheming for Jonathan Taylor and being able to kind of scheme for that running attack more, it's kind of slowed Jonathan Taylor's numbers down a little bit. So although Jonathan Taylor is still having an incredible year, I think by the end of the year, my offensive player of the year will be Jackson Smith.
Yeah, Jason's got it. He got that on lock. He's absolutely ran away with that.
He's having an elite year for sure.
Yeah. Uh,
Definitely.
well, who's your defensive player of the year? Well,
Yeah, come
actually,
on, bro. Miles Garrett,
yeah.
man. He's having an elite season. He's having a one-of-one season, about to break the sack record. I can almost guarantee he breaks that. So he's gonna go on to get defensive player of the year, man. And he's gonna finish as one of the best defensive players to ever touch football.
I think he might be a unanimous defensive player of the year, to be honest with you. I
I don't
think
see
they
how you
should
could vote for anybody else.
you literally can't, like, at all.
Like, like, yeah, yeah, bro. He's gonna get his second defensive player of the year, and I don't really think it should be close. All right, man, let's get to the rookies. I feel like this is one that at the beginning of the year, a lot of people felt like Emeka Ibuka was going to come out, and after the games that he had been having, people thought he was going to kind of run away with it. But we've got a couple other guys that have been in the mix. We've got Trevion Henderson from the Patriots that we just spoke about. We've got Ted McMillan from the Panthers that's been having some great games as of late. Who is your offensive rookie of the year, excuse me?
Think I'm gonna go with Travion Henderson.
Okay.
I think he's shown me enough to not only put him past Emeka, but put him in the first, and I'd comfortably put him in the first, unless he has just a terrible last couple games. But yeah, I think he can comfortably be in first right now for me. What about you?
23 yards on the year, 7 touchdowns, 143 carries, with him not getting as many carries as he was at the beginning of the year. He's been definitely impressive, bro. He's been popped some big runs that have kinda sparked the Patriots. Bro, the Patriots have drafted so well. They've got a team coming up, and I feel like when they're just gonna keep building. They're gonna keep building with wide receivers. They're gonna keep building that defense. That they're formulating something really, really good over there. I feel like my offensive rookie of the year, it's tough, man. I think mine was kind of a toss-up between Emeka and Ted McMillan. And I feel like I'm kinda this one's kinda just kind of a favoritism one right here. I'm gonna go with Ted McMillan. I really like Ted McMillan. I like the Panthers. I like Bryce Young. And I feel like the turnaround that they've had from this year to last year, this year, them at least having a positive record is a turnaround from what they were last year. And I feel like that has had a lot to do with them getting Ted McMillan. And him and Emeka Buka's stats are similar, so I feel like it's gonna come down to these last couple games. But I feel like, in my opinion, the offensive rookie of the year that I wanna see will be Ted McMillan.
McMillan, I like that. I like it. It's different. I don't think I've heard anyone say Ted McMillan this late.
Yeah, because he kinda started off slow and Emeka started off hot. So it's like you kinda people thought he was gonna blow away, but I think going into these next couple games, Carolina's gonna kinda lean on their offense with Bryce Young being able to take care of the ball more. I definitely feel like if they can lean into their offense, like I said, he can be the offensive rookie of the year, and I can see him maybe being able to crack 1,000 yards, so we'll see.
I feel like if he gets 1,000 yards this season. Wait, do you know where Emeka is and Ted in yardage wise?
Let me see, I know they're kinda around the same.
Yeah, are they similar?
Mecca's at 59 receptions for 851 yards. I mean, That was Ted McMillan's stats. Ted McMillan is at 59 receptions for 851 yards, and Mecca, he's at 58 receptions for 870 yards. So Mecca's had less receptions on more yards, but I feel like I said, I feel like these next couple games are gonna be very, very important for both teams, and it's
Yeah.
actually ironic they face off this Sunday, man. So, I think just with the way Carolina Panthers offense has been, I think they lean in more on the pass game and kinda get him involved more, and they both had the same amount of touchdowns at 6 touchdowns, so they've had a pretty similar even year.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really good game
Yeah, it's gonna be a really, really
to
good
really think
game.
about it. Do you know
Yeah.
where that game's at?
That game's at Tampa Bay, if I'm not
Is
mistaken, let
it?
me double check.
Hmm.
Nope, it's at Carolina. They play at Carolina. Yep, and it's gonna be very important. They're in the same division. They're both 7-7, and they're both fighting for a spot in the playoffs, bro. And that's gonna be. We'll touch on more of the NFL games in our next episode, but that's gonna be one of those games I definitely would be looking out for because, um, I mean, the winner of that team is 8-7, and with how stacked and packed the NFC is, that's gonna be a very important game going down the stretch.
Are they playing for division?
I'm pretty sure they are. I could double check real
Yeah, because
quick.
if they're tied, that means the Falcons and the Saints can't be
Well, I think
nowhere
they're
near.
done yet because you're right. They share with the Falcons and the Saints, and both of those teams are kind of out. So I know definitely down the stretch they'll be fighting for divisions. But they've been super impressed. Like I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
I don't even really think people expected Carolina to be how they've been playing. They've had a great defense, and they went on a streak where they were winning a bunch of games, man. Like I know
They
they
turned it
dropped a pretty
around.
definitely they dropped one to the 49ers, but bro, they beat the Rams. They have some great wins. They beat the Rams, they beat the Packers, they've they beat the Falcons 30-0. Golly.
Mm.
They've had some pretty I don't know, bro. It's just like when you watch their games, it's so hard to get a read on them because it seems like they lose a lot of games that they could win, and they win some games that you don't expect them to. So it's hard to kind of, in my opinion, get a read on what they're really about. But hey, man, with Bryce Young, anything is possible. And if they can get to the playoffs If they get to the playoffs, I'll stamp this right now. If they get to the playoffs, I will be getting a Bryce Young jersey.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that, bro. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yes, sir. If they get in the playoffs, I will get a Bryce Young jersey, and I will have it on the podcast for their first playoff game.
Say that. Say that. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clip that. We got it. Can't wait to run that back.
Yes, sir. I'm excited, and I don't know if they'll do anything in the playoffs. I definitely think they're a young team, and they got a lot of learning to do, and they need some consistency in their offense for sure. But I feel like as a Panther fan, bro, they're just happy to see their team win some games and play watchable football. So I feel like this is definitely a step in the right direction for your young quarterback and your young wide receiver and that young defense. And they'll be impressive moving forward. I give them 2 more years before they can start being much more competitive in the NFC for sure.
Or defensive rookie of the year. Where you
I
at?
think this one has to go to Carson Schlesinger. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, man. I hope I am. He's been a beast. Um, But that Browns offense is amazing, and of course, that's because of Myles Garrett, like we just spoke of, about to break the sack record, and they've got a lot of different great studs on that defense. But he's been great too, especially as a rookie, been a plug and play guy that can come out and just that you can immediately play. He's been very, very impressive. I feel like a guy that I'd be watching for though is Nick Emmanwari from the Seattle Seahawks. He's been a stud. And I don't know, man. I think it would be kind of toss up between them. I think I'd have to give it to Carson, but Nick has been very, very great for them. They've really been playing him everywhere. They have him around the line. They have him at linebacker. They have him at safety. He's been everywhere on the field, and his stats don't really show the impact and just how important he's been to that Seattle Seahawks defense. So I feel like both of those guys can kind of give Defensive Rookie of the Year. They both have a good argument for it, in my opinion.
Yeah, those linebackers in Cleveland are definitely getting it done. I got to give it to Carson as well.
For sure.
3 tackles, man, as
As
a
a
rookie.
rookie, bro, that's insane, bro.
And you're
That's
competing with Devin Bush, bro. Yeah, that's crazy. That whole
definitely, bro.
Browns defense is just, man, it's something to be amazed at.
Definitely, bro.
Myles Garrett,
They
21.
have to figure that offense out soon, bro, because that defense is elite.
Yeah. They'll figure it out though. I think the fact that Shedeur Sanders has more passing yards than Dylan Gabriel in 5 games, and one of them doesn't count because I don't count it, so really 4. It says a lot. I think they got their QB. I hope they make some adjustments this offseason. You know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah,
they'll certainly I think get it around, and that team's gonna be winning soon. I can see it.
yeah. I definitely think if they can add some valuable weapons to the offensive line and to just the consistency at wide receiver, of course they've got Isaiah Bond, they've got Jerry Jeudy, they've got Harold Fanning, who I think is gonna blossom into an elite tight end. He's shown some flashes of being a guy that can be your every down tight end. I feel like they've hit on Harold Fanning. They got him late in the draft, but of course they got Shedeur Sanders. I feel like that should be they got moving forward. I don't really see a need for them to get a quarterback. I don't think that's their main concern going into this next draft. I feel like them getting some consistent, viable pass catchers, um, and being able to have some protection, along with just bringing in a staff that is able to be more offensive minded to help this defense out. Man, I feel like if they can do that in these next couple years, the Browns can be. I feel like the Browns can have some of the fortune that the Panthers have had with being able to turn the season around and be fighting for a playoff spot soon for sure.
And they'll definitely have an identity really, really soon.
Yep. Like you said, man, these games have been super, super crazy. It's been a lot going on. The next episode, we're going to be talking more about college football with these playoffs coming up, man. It's a lot of impressive games. Going to be a lot of great games. It's going to be some crazy stuff going on in the college football world. It hasn't really been a topic that we've touched on much. This is the first time we've actually touched on NBA on here, man. We're going to be trying to get
Yeah.
more of NBA and more of college football and a lot of these crazy games that's going on because it's going to be a lot. This championship run is going to be super impressive. It's a lot going on with the transfer portal. That's going to be some topics that we're going to touch on coming up soon as well. A lot of people are going to be finding a lot of new homes, and we're going to talk about it all, man. So we appreciate y'all spending y'all time with us. listening to us. We'll be back for another episode of the Post Game 30 podcast, man. We love y'all.
Sir, man, we out.
Sir.